Hi, this is John Michael Goudelet again with a second presentation on the scandal of the cross and its triumphs, written by Bob and Penny Lord. Very good book. It explains everything about the Holy Catholic Church. Bob and Penny Lord were recognized Catholic authors, television ministers on EWTN, and pilgrims who dedicated their lives to promoting the faith, particularly through the Eucharist, Saint Mary, and all the saints. Though raised in the faith, they experienced a profound return to the church after a period of estrangement following the death of their son. Key details about their Catholic ministry include ministry focus on the miracles of the Eucharist, apparitions of Mary, and the lives of the saints. They produced books and television programs for EWTN and led pilgrimages to the Holy Land in Europe. Background: Bob and Penny, who came from Italy, Italian, Irish, and Bronx and Brooklyn backgrounds, credited Mother Angelica for guiding them back to the Catholic Church and back into their ministry. So God bless Bob and Penny Lord for this book. Here it has a lot of stuff in here. You know, I put those Mary and Jesus praying, taught us how to pray, and we continue to follow Jesus Christ. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with St. Pius XII. It says a witness for Pope Pius XII include Jewish survivors like Chief Rabbi Israel. Include Jewish survivors like Chief Rabbi Israel Zoli was known for leading the Jewish community during the Nazi occupation. He also converted to Catholicism in 1945. This was Chief Rabbi Israel Zoli, and adopting the name Eugenio Maria Zoli in gratitude to Pope Pius XII. Also was named Eugenio Maria Pacelli. Pope John the 23rd also gave testimony for Pope Pius. Pope Pius the 12th, protesting would not change Hitler and was bent on killing Jews. Nazi Hitler's behavior is in question. While Hitler sought to silence Pope Pius XII by persecuting and imprisoning thousands of Catholic German priests, nuns, and sent to concentration camps like Dachau. Beyond arrest, the Nazis closed Catholic schools, banned newspapers, and launched propaganda campaigns against the Catholic Church. While Catholic bishops spoke out against the Nazi war and against the Catholic Church, Catholic resistance to Nazi Germany and Hitler in 1933 Hitler's used this to silence the Catholic Church, was to arrest all Catholic clergy and imprison Catholics at the Vatican. Pope Pius Pope Pius did bring attention to this situation in 1939 and 1958. To the persecution and imprisonment of German Catholic priests during World War II in Germany, this was no secret. The chief rabbi Israel Zoli converted to Catholicism after the war, taking the Pope's name, Eugenio, which supporters argue showed his respect for Pope Pius XII's actions. Other Jewish historians who documented thousands of Jews hidden in monasteries and convents in Rome noted in the Catholic Weekly. Catholic Church figures Angelo Roncalli, future Pope John XXIII, as nuncio. He actively forwarded requests for asylum and communicated with German officials regarding Jewish concerns. Giovanni Perofino, an Italian official who testified about the Pope's efforts to save Jews, is in a 24-minute video. Giovanni Perofino interview, must watch. Critics and seeking more action were people from, I think it was Auschwitz camp there in Poland. They escaped and they wrote letters to the Vatican and tried to inform the Allies about the Holocaust and had contact with the Vatican. But those crucial testimonies are sometimes overlooked in favor of pro-Pius XII's accounts. So Pope Pius was dealing with getting the Jews out of harm's way and trying to protect the Catholic Church at the same time in Germany and in Rome. He had critics about, they say that he was silent about not bringing attention to the Jewish exterminations there in Auschwitz, Poland. But it was no secret to the whole world. I mean, everybody knew about it. Nature of the testimony witnesses accounts, many Jews and Catholics credit Pope Pius XII for secret interventions using church property and resources to hide Jews, while critics point to this public silence and lack of failing. According to Jewish currents, the opening of the Vatican archives in 2020 continues to provide new documents for researchers to access these completing the Pope Pius XII and the Holocaust and the Vatican. There's another book that came out that's very, very good. Dan Kurtzman was the first journalist to have interviewed General Wolf, the German General Wolf, following his release from prison after the war. A book written by Dan Kurtzman, A Special Mission, Hitler's Secret Plot to Seize the Vatican and Kidnap the Pope Pius XII in 1943, Hitler ordered SS General Karl Wolff to kidnap Pope Pius XII and occupy the Vatican, while Wolff secretly plotted to save the Pope. Adolf Hitler was reportedly very upset and livid, angry, when his plan to seize the Vatican and kidnap the Pope XII were delayed or not immediately executed, as he viewed the Pope as a significant obstacle to his goals. Hitler's reaction: when the SS General Karl Wolff indicated that creating a plan to seize the Vatican and the Pope would take 4 to 6 weeks, Hitler replied, "That's far too long. I should prefer to take the Vatican immediately." Plot and delay. Following the Italian armistice, the peace negotiations in September 1943, Hitler ordered SS Wolff, the German Wolff, to occupy the Vatican, secure the archives and treasures, and transfer the Pope to Germany to prevent him from falling into Allied hands. General Wolff, the supreme SS and police leader in Italy, did not immediately execute the order, although Hitler was furious about the situation. Wolff claimed to have eventually convinced him to abandon the idea. Wolff even met secretly with Pope Pius XII in May 1944 to warn him of the plot, assuring the Pope he would not carry out the orders given to him by Adolf Hitler. And also German Ambassador Ernest von Weizsäcker managed to delay or prevent the plot. Also, he was a high-ranking German diplomat serving as State Secretary and Ambassador to the Vatican. This was Ernest von Weizsäcker. Pope Francis opened the Vatican archives of Pope Pius XII in 1939 to 1958 on March 2, 2020, making decades of documents available to researchers to move announced in March 2019 to allow deeper studies of the World War II era papacy, with specific dates chosen to coincide with Pope Pius XII's election anniversary. Includes records from the Secretary of State and other Holy See officials' offices, covering Pius XII's entire pontificate, to allow scholars thoroughly to examine the historical records, particularly concerning his role during World War II and the Holocaust. Recent access to Vatican archives, explored in books like David Kirshner's The Pope at War, offers new insights, but continues to fuel debate about Pope Pius' actions during the war. David Kirshner's book, The Pope at War, argues that Pope Pius XII was a moral failure and not a hero. It was Giovanni Pierfino who testified to Pope Pius XII saving the Jews on behalf of Pope Pius XII. Giovanni Pierfino, an Italian official who testified about the Pope Pius XII's efforts to save the Jews from Hitler-Nazi's SS. In 1933, Pope Pius XI signed by Cardinal Eugene Pacelli, later Pius XII, with Nazi Germany to protect the rights of Catholics, though it was quickly violated by Hitler. World War II peace efforts. Although World War II, Pope Pius XII actively worked through diplomatic channels to try and armorist a peace agreement, often corresponding with the German resistance and allies. So David Kirshner's book on Pope at War is saying that the Pope the Pope's secret meeting with the Prince Philip von Hessman came out in 2020 when Pope Francis opened the archives in Rome and Vatican. This David Kirshner really has, he thinks that he has Prince Philip von Hessen as a witness to these secret meetings, but everybody knew about these meetings, you know. Pope Pius II meetings with this Prince Philip von Hessman, who's an Italian, and his wife, Moldala, princess, were both imprisoned by Hitler. And I don't know why they think that he's a witness to these secret meetings. Everybody knew about these meetings. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start another video. I'll be right back.